Marcus wiped the sweat from his forehead as he pushed the heavy mop bucket across the polished hardwood floor of the Riverside Community Center. The squeak of his worn sneakers echoed through the empty gymnasium, a sound that had become as familiar to him as his own heartbeat. It was nearly midnight, and while the rest of the world slept, Marcus worked just like he had every night for the past 3 years since Sarah passed away. The basketball court gleamed under the fluorescent lights, a testament to Marcus's meticulous care. He took pride in his work, even if others saw it as just cleaning. To him, this place represented something more, a sanctuary where kids from the neighborhood could escape the harsh realities of inner-city life, where dreams were born on wooden floors and hope lived in the arc of a perfect shot. As he mopped beneath the basketball hoop, Marcus glanced at the framed photo tucked in his shirt pocket, a picture of his 8-year-old daughter, Emma, holding a basketball almost as big as she was. Her gap-toothed smile beamed back at him, reminding him why he worked these long hours, why he sacrificed sleep and social connections, why every dollar mattered. Emma had been asking for months to join the youth basketball league that practiced here 3 times a week. The registration fee was $150, an amount that might as well have been $1,500 for Marcus. Between rent, groceries, and Emma's asthma medication, there was nothing left over for extras, no matter how much his little girl wanted them. "Dad, I could be really good," she'd told him just that morning, dribbling an imaginary ball as she ate her cereal. "Mrs. Peterson says I'm tall for my age and I have good hands." "Please." Marcus had smiled and ruffled her hair, promising they'd figure something out, knowing full well that figuring something out meant working extra shifts that didn't exist and hoping for miracles that rarely came. The sound of voices in the hallway interrupted his thoughts. The elite athletic club members were leaving after their late-night pickup game as a group of wealthy businessmen and lawyers who rented the court twice a week for their exclusive games. Marcus had cleaned up after them countless times, sweeping up their expensive energy drink bottles and toweling off their designer shoes' scuff marks. "Hey, janitor." The voice belonged to Derek Hoffman, a real estate developer whose BMW was worth more than Marcus made in 2 years. "Come here for a second." Marcus leaned his mop against the wall and walked over to where 5 men stood near the entrance, their faces flushed from their game, their high-end athletic wear barely showing signs of sweat. "We were just talking," Derek continued, bouncing a basketball casually, "and someone mentioned you're here every night. Don't you ever play? I mean, you're around basketball all the time." The other men chuckled, and Marcus felt heat rise in his cheeks. "I'm here to work, sir, not to play." "Oh, come on." Another man, James Crawford, chimed in. He was a lawyer who drove a Tesla and complained loudly whenever the vending machine was out of his preferred organic protein bars. "One shot, just for fun. I bet you can't even hit the rim from the free throw line." The group erupted in laughter, and Marcus felt something twist in his stomach. He'd heard this tone before, yet a casual cruelty that came so easily to those who had never known struggle, never felt the weight of choosing between medicine and meals. "Tell you what," Derek said, his voice dripping with condescension, "if you can make a shot from half court, I'll give you $50. If you miss a, which you will, or you have to clean our cars in the parking lot, right now, for free." The men exchanged glances and snickered. To them, this was entertainment, a momentary distraction from their privileged lives. They saw Marcus as a prop in their game, someone to laugh at, someone whose dignity was worth the price of their amusement. Marcus stood silent for a long moment, feeling the weight of their stares. He thought about Emma, about her dreams and his empty wallet. He thought about Sarah, who used to tell him that sometimes you have to take a stand, even especially when the odds are stacked against you. "Make it 100, Marcus said quietly. The laughter stopped abruptly. Derek's eyebrows shot up. "Excuse me?" $100, Marcus repeated, his voice steady now. "If I make it, you pay me 100. If I miss, I'll clean your cars." The men looked at each other uncertainly. $100 was nothing to them, less than they spent on lunch, but something in Marcus's tone had shifted the energy in the room. "You're serious?" James asked. Marcus nodded. "Dead serious." Derek shrugged and pulled out his wallet, counting out 5 20s. "Your funeral, janitor. This should be good." Marcus walked to the center of the court and picked up the basketball. The gymnasium felt different now, larger somehow, the ceiling higher, the basket impossibly far away. The men gathered along the sideline, phones out, ready to record his humiliation. But as Marcus held the ball, something unexpected happened. The court didn't feel foreign anymore. It felt like home. What the elite athletic club members didn't know, or what nobody at the community center knew, was who Marcus Washington really was. They didn't know that 15 years ago, he'd been the starting point guard for State University, leading his team to 2 conference championships. They didn't know that he'd been drafted by the NBA, that he'd spent 2 years playing professional basketball before a career-ending knee injury changed everything. They didn't know about the long rehabilitation, the failed attempts at coaching, the slow slide from basketball courts to corporate jobs to unemployment when the economy crashed. They didn't know about meeting Sarah at his lowest point, about her belief in him, about their simple, happy life before the cancer took her away. They didn't know about the nights he'd come to this very court after Emma fell asleep, shooting alone in the dark, remembering who he used to be. Marcus dribbled the ball 3 times, feeling its familiar weight in his hands. The muscle memory was still there, buried under years of exhaustion and grief, but not gone, never gone. He looked up at the basket, then at the men watching him with smirks on their faces. He thought about Emma's basketball dreams, about the registration fee that might as well be on the moon, about all the times he'd bitten his tongue when people like these men treated him as invisible. Marcus bent his knees, raised the ball above his head, and let it fly. The ball arced through the air in perfect rotation, its path true and unwavering. Time seemed suspended as it traveled the length of the court, carrying with it years of muscle memory, dreams deferred, and a father's desperate love. Swish! The sound of the ball hitting nothing but net echoed through the silent gymnasium like thunder. The ball bounced once on the court and rolled to a stop near the stunned man's feet. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The silence was complete and profound, broken only by the gentle swing of the net still swaying from the perfect shot. Derek's mouth hung open. James had dropped his phone. The other men stared at Marcus as if seeing him for the first time, which, in a way, they were. Jesus Christ, someone whispered. Did that just happen? Marcus walked over and picked up the ball, then turned to face the group. His expression was calm, dignified, showing none of the satisfaction he felt inside. "The $100, he said quietly. Derek, still in shock, fumbled with his wallet and handed over the money without a word. Marcus folded the bills carefully and put them in his pocket, next to Emma's picture. As he turned to walk away, James found his voice. "Wait, who are you?" Marcus paused at the gymnasium entrance and looked back. "I'm Emma Washington's dad," he said simply. "And tomorrow, she's going to sign up for basketball." The next evening, Marcus arrived at work to find an envelope taped to his locker. Inside was a check for $2,000 and a note written on expensive letterhead. "Marcus, we did some research after last night. We know who you are now, and we're ashamed of how we treated you. This money is for Emma's basketball registration and whatever else she needs. We also spoke to the community center director. They'd like to offer you a position as assistant basketball coach, in addition to your current job. The kids here deserve to learn from someone like you. We hope you'll consider it." Derek, James, and the elite athletic club. 3 months later, Emma Washington dribbled down the court in her bright red uniform, her father's old number 23 stitched proudly on her back. From the sidelines, Coach Marcus watched with tears in his eyes as his daughter made her first basket in organized play. The crowd erupted in cheers, but the loudest applause came from an unexpected section of the bleachers. Derek, James, and several other members of the elite athletic club had become regular attendees at the youth league games, not as spectators of privilege looking down on others, but as supporters of dreams taking flight. After the game, as Marcus cleaned the court one final time in his janitorial capacity, Emma ran up and hugged him tight. "Dad, did you see? Did you see my shot?" "I saw it, baby girl," Marcus said, lifting her up. "And I'm so proud of you. Coach Peterson says I have natural talent." Emma beamed. "She says it must run in the family." "Are you good at basketball too, Dad?" Marcus smiled and set his daughter down gently. "I used to be, sweetheart. I used to be." As they walked home together under the streetlights, Marcus realized that sometimes the most powerful shots aren't the ones that win games or championships. Sometimes they're the ones that remind us of our worth, that open doors we thought were permanently closed, that show our children what's possible when you stand tall in the face of doubt. The half-court shot had lasted only seconds, but its impact would ripple through their lives forever. In that moment of perfect arc and flawless execution, Marcus had done more than sink a basketball. He had reclaimed his dignity, secured his daughter's dreams, and proven that everyone deserves respect, regardless of their circumstances. The gymnasium at the Riverside Community Center still gleams under Marcus's careful attention each night. But now, after his cleaning duties are done, he stays a little longer to coach the kids who need it most, passing on the lessons that basketball taught him, that persistence pays off, that everyone deserves a chance to shine, and that sometimes the most important victories happen when nobody's keeping score. And every time Emma takes a shot, Marcus remembers that night when he silenced the whole club with one perfect arc of the balla and in doing so, found his voice again.